There are men in our deserts with guns.
They are the tip of humanity's spear.
No, not these guys. Different desert guys, but similar guys. Tall whites with guns. And they have their own suit guy too. And they got helicopters again.
And they have equipment. You gotta have badass equipment. Just swimming in equipment and data. It's the age of information after all. But they don't have zoom lenses. Oh no, wait, they do have zoom lenses, but they do not zoom in. They don't need to zoom in. You see, they have psychics in sleeping bags, lounging, straight chilling.
These days, men like this, they speak candidly to Congress.
Veterans. Oh, we got veterans. Veterans for days. So many wars, so many veterans. Spilling the beans, taking the day off from hegemony, and whistle blowing.
I'm happy to answer your questions.
But look, you already know all this. I already know all this.
Either way, let's catch up.
Well, let's take an accounting.
Let's just process.
No new information.
What does it mean?
Otherwise, we may stay lost forever in the disclosure matrix. First, you must know they are not aliens and they are not UFOs. Not anymore, Grandpa! Those nouns were too familiar. They are called biologics. They are called UAPs now. And they definitely exist. Or they don't. And the government definitely has them. Or aerospace, weapons, private military type companies. They contain them in hangars, deep underground, domes. Or they don't. It could be, well, a lie? We've all done a lie or two. I'm not talking to a bunch of George Washingtons, am I? You know, like when you call your boss and you say, I'm so sick, I can't go to work. And then you go to Bonnaroo instead, but then like a pic of you dressed like a pervert goes viral. And you can't admit to the lie, so you gotta lie about the pictures. So you call your boss and you say, dude, that's not me. That's clearly Venus or swamp gas or a balloon. But nobody's buying your lying. So instead, you discredit your boss. You launch a smear campaign. You start regularly injecting his food with LSD. And you Bluetooth your voice into his bedroom. Going on all night about reptilians and fucking scalar waves. But even that shit don't work. So you gotta unalive him. That's right, folks. We will definitely get down to the truth on a platform that encourages the use of words like unalive, fucking snowflakes, all of us. But what was I saying? What I'm saying is that maybe the CIA, all these deep intelligence guys, though they seem like great guys, salt of the earth kind of guys, sit down and have a beer with them kind of guys, but sometimes spies lie? Put a pin in that for now. Okay, so the military-industrial complex or private industry, they have crafts. And they've reverse engineered those crafts. And they've Townsend Browned gravity into a stupor. They've made space-time their bitch. Power! They've gone to the stars and back. They've taken E.T. home. They pull all the strings and they live forever. Hell, they made up string theory just to cover their tracks. They've got trillions of dollars in their budget. And me, I can't afford rent or even eggs. I haven't eaten a hard-boiled egg since the pandemic. Meanwhile, these guys, they're a secret cabal, paper-clipped Nazis, old money patriarchs that call to mind the Monopoly man, storied families with butlers and studies, men who pissed off Smedley Butler. Now they got hangars full of little gray guys in black spacesuits or in their birthday suits. Recovered a century ago in Texas and New Mexico and Italy. They got saucers, they got triangles, they got bells, they got eggs. No, not the expensive ones from the store. Nobody's got those. I haven't eaten an omelet since Tiger King dropped. No, they got eggs that fly around. They summon them with machines, electromagnetic things, and psychics, and sleeping bags, and Tic Tacs, and jellyfish, and blobs. The blob is in the sky. Okay, so maybe I sound incredulous. Seriously, I eat this stuff up. It's delicious. I'm just like you. If you know, you know. Anyway, so the powers that be, they've got their sweaty little fingers on the pulse of truth. A treasure chest of ontological candy. The real deal. They know all the stuff that you want to know. I want to know. They ain't telling. They have all the answers. And I'm not talking about all those normal, boring, philosophical answers. Those classic black holes of logic. All those scientific answers that immediately splinter off into more questions. And the questions, ooh, Oof. Those same goddamn questions we've been asking in Philosophy 101 for thousands of years. The same questions that Aristotle asked Plato and Plato asked Socrates. The same questions that your buddy asked you through the bong smoke over the all-night horizontal mirror. Those questions that mostly break down to, what is this? What am I? Where are we? What the fuck is going on? The Cabal, Cheney, General Tuttle Bean. These guys, these folks, they know the answers. They could tell you with confidence everything that's been bugging you. What is this reality? It's a simulation. But what's outside the simulation? They know that too. What are we? Well, we're genetically modified primates created millions of years ago to mine precious metals for the Anunnaki gods. But who is it that made the gods that made us? And what are they doing? What are they doing? But the shadow government knows that too. These guys know about the wall at the end of the finite universe, and they've unbounded that wall, and they've mapped the DMT realm. So you better believe that they ain't staying up all night whispering at ceilings, worried about their mortality, because they will never die. The judge says he will never die. But also, they know what happens when you do die. Meanwhile, I don't even know my Apple ID. If it ain't saved in my history, I'm resetting that shit every time. But they know my passwords. They know all our passwords. The truth is out there, and they know it, and I don't, and I want to know it. I really need to know, because it can't be just this. It can't, man. It cannot. There's gotta be more out there. It can't just be dollar stores and Pornhub, day jobs and silent retreats, or drinking afternoon doubles, or getting sober in circles of strangers, making babies and raising babies so they can make babies and raise more babies. It can't just be elections and prisons and weddings and funerals, immigrant scapegoating, protesting the latest genocide, or participating, digging mass graves. Mass graves are called mass graves because people dig so many mass graves. They had to come up with a term that sounded better than big graves. Keeping that in mind, it can't just be humans. It can't just be home renovations and mathematical equations and ketamine infusions, moving digital money from one window to another so the number can get bigger in the one window and then potentially get moved to another place where it can get bigger again. It can't just be underdog championship teams, because when they hit a buzzer beater,
no foul, Garland. Garland from midcourt. Wow!
I feel fucking alive. When they lose at the buzzer, I die 1,000 deaths. And all the while, intellectually, I know the game means nothing. It's a kid's game. It's fucking Candyland. And yet, in the moment, it means everything to me. Well, that means my internal calculator is askew. I'm calibrated all wrong.
So, well, how should we feel about this? Don't ask that question. That's sacred.
My feelings don't care about your facts. You make your own meaning. Well, the meaning I make is bullshit. There has to be something more. More than scratch-offs and golf clubs and limerence, and dance floors and stomach aches, close-up magic and parking tickets. There's 100 billion star systems in the galaxy. 100 billion galaxies in the known universe. Perhaps a universe in each black hole. And 4 quintillion black holes in each universe. So it can't just be us. It can't just be baby boomer men who start each YouTube comment by announcing their age. I'm a 73-year-old man, and this song is the greatest song. One Mr. Bob Dylan graced the stage. I'm 86 years old, and Jesse Wells is the finest songwriter. I'm 97 years old, and Mr. Jesse Wells, thank you for your hard work. Jesse, I'm a 105-year-old man. I wish that you would let me live with you in your backyard. It can't just be old men praising Jesse Wells. Guys, he's fine. Jesse Wells is fine. You just like him because he's derivative of the same people you grew up listening to. I'm just saying, he mostly sings topical songs that sound like NPR interstitials. Why is he being so mean to Jesse Wells? And why is he using a weird Jim Gaffigan style voice circa 2003? I'm being mean about the extremely talented singer-songwriter Jesse Wells, who I subscribe to, by the way, because I'm a fucking loser. And this loser is all I have. Everything that comes into to me gets all messed up by me. I got all these biases and emotions, and ever-shifting beliefs, and compulsions, and trauma. Whatever else has made me into an unreliable narrator. A bitter, middle-aged man. Jaded, strange, a fucking weirdo. It can't just be guys like me, odd wandering poets who spend their life making art for basically no one. We sleep on your couches. We invite you to our shows at some awful DIY space. We are uncles. We are underemployed. We make lots of art. We work part-time jobs. And we beg you to watch and to listen like a kid doing handstands in the pool. Mom! Mom, watch! Mom, watch how long I can hold my breath. It can't just be me singing songs to myself in my room.
Condolences! The bomb's lost!
And it can't just be you half watching Netflix on your TVs while scrolling absently through social media feeds, daydreaming and dreading some distorted history, having some phantom argument with an old boss or an ex-girlfriend. I need there to be something more. Because I can't drink Wild Turkey 101 anymore. And I can't smoke crack, and I can't snort up opiates. I can't even smoke weed anymore. And that shit's legal now. In fact, it's practically illegal to abstain from weed, at least in California. I'm just lost. I'm so lost. Stuck in paralyzing grief that just won't go away. Broke and insignificant. At this age, I find myself dreaming more about death than I do about sex. I don't even pray for success or money or even love. What I do now is I meditate and I beg the universe for ease, for emptiness, for acceptance. So you will believe me when I say, I need this, bro. I need some truth. But still, they won't tell me. Even the goddamn whistleblowers won't fully blow the whistle. That's like your only thing.
Something I can't discuss in public setting.
They all say, I know for a fact that the secret space program is hiding crafts and aliens. They say, I've seen the proof. And then we say, could I see the proof? No. There's these guys who told me the truth, and they got all the proof. Could you tell me the name of one of the guys? No.
For the record, if you were me, where would you look? Titles, programs, departments, regions, if you could just name anything.
I'd be happy to give you that in a closed environment. I can tell you specifically.
These men who have seen beyond the veil, crossed the uncrossable door. But as soon as you want to cross, bad news, the doors become uncrossable again. Ain't that just the way it is with uncrossable doors? Which makes you wonder, if these guys are professional spies, don't spies lie? I mean, isn't that kind of their whole thing? They lied about MK Ultra for 20 years before they told us the truth. They lied about weapons of mass destruction to get us into a 20-year war on terror. They lied about Martin Luther King. They lied about JFK. They lied about Iran, Guatemala, the Congo, Cuba, Vietnam, Cambodia, Honduras. They lied about Contras and crack cocaine. And of course they lied about the ongoing draconian surveillance systems.
We're not domestic spying, ladies and gentlemen, but we are listening in on the evildoers.
And so now you got these agents saying that they're whistleblowers and they're the ones ready to tell the truth. But I mean, this guy blew the whistle and he had to stay at an embassy for a really long time. And this other guy blew a whistle and now he lives in fucking Russia. So why are all our UFO whistleblowers like doing History Channel shows? They lie about drone strikes, they lie to cover the lies. I mean, the whole message of these UFO whistleblowers tends to be, the intelligence organizations that I was a part of have lied to you your entire life. Everything they have told us has been lies. And now I want to tell the truth. Trust me, bro. Trust me. Well, it sounds like wolf you cry. I tend to think that intelligence agents are the least trustworthy people on Earth, right above known serial killers and political pundits. Serial killers will lie just to save their ass. Intelligence agents think they're lying to save the world. Trust no one, Mr. Bond. And yet still, most people act like high-level military intelligence experience makes you trustworthy, reputable. What about war is hell? What about all's fair in love and war? A better question would be, why wouldn't they lie? An even better question would be, why would they suddenly stop lying? People list this guy's work at Guantanamo Bay as evidence of his upstanding character. I don't want to get political, but that's what Guantanamo Bay makes you think of? Moral character? I think without trial. I think extraordinary rendition. I think I'm scared. I mean, I look at this dude and I think goatee. I think bass player. And I get the whole, thank you for your service, sir. But if working at Guantanamo Bay does not at least kind of make you question someone's moral fiber, then why did we spend so many years trying to define torture, talking about waterboarding, stress positions? Like, if there's nothing wrong with it, and in fact it proves that you're a good dude, then why do even those who defend these grisly prisons and torture techniques often refer to all of the above as necessary evil? That is, if they are not necessarily evil. To be clear, I don't believe in evil or evildoers.
The evildoers are attacking!
Nor do I believe in good. I believe in nothing except UFOs, which means I get lonely on holidays. This is starting to sound too hippy-dippy, too preachy. Peace, love, man. So forget it, because that's not my point. I'm done trying to convince anyone that war is a waking nightmare. I will leave that to the 20-year-olds. Side note, 20-year-olds, I don't mean to be dismissive. I genuinely hope you are the generation to finally convince the old war hawks that war sucks. Godspeed. My point about military intelligence is not just that war is bad. It's about paradox. So let's talk about this guy. His story illustrates the type of military paradox that is inherent within the UFO disclosure question. So obviously you can look at this dude's face and you know right off the bat that he's a badass, he's super cool, he's a hardcore spy, he's a super soldier. He's like exactly what we think of when we think of sexy James Bond, Ethan Hunt type guy. We think of this dude. And in this mess of flying saucers, big ass eyes, and alien abductees, this guy comes up all the time. The dude is famous as fuck in the community. And he is most famous for lying. He is a verified intelligence dude. His actual job was to convince people who had experienced secret government craft that what they had actually seen was aliens. For years, he manipulated people into believing that aliens were real. It's kind of confusing, right? Well, it only gets worse. Let me give you the most famous example. So there's this guy, he sees this weird government craft, he reports it, turns out what he saw was classified. So our agent shows up and convinces the dude that the craft was actually an alien spaceship. And then he goes on to hack the guy's computer, convinces him that aliens are talking to him, probably drugs him. CIA was big into drugging people. So anyway, long story short, it drives the dude insane. He goes friggin' crazy, ends up in a mental hospital. And there are more examples of this. There's documentaries about the guy, and he admits to it.
Back in the early 80s, it was my job to confuse the UFO community. And it was very easy to convince Paul. Paul was a World War II veteran. He's very patriotic.
It was his job to spread the alien lie. But since he's come clean, he's finally able to tell the truth. And the truth he now chooses to tell is that aliens are real. He went from deviously manipulating people into believing that aliens were real to truthfully confessing to people that aliens are real. And he is considered a reputable source. He speaks in countless documentaries, History Channel shows. He is incredibly popular, not in spite of the fact that he was once a lying intelligence agent. No, his story is taken incredibly seriously because he was once a disinformation agent. He was on the inside, now he's on the outside. And he's brought the truth with him. He's confirming everything we suspect. He's telling us what we want to hear. And all we want to hear is the truth. So it must be the truth that he's telling. The truth is out there. What the fuck is truth? I mean, isn't it just a concept like freedom or happiness? Isn't it mostly just a platitude? People be talking about happiness like it's some kind of destination vacation or a retirement home. I mean, in the end, I just want to be happy. As if once you cross your T's and pay your dues and finally climb the mountain of tribulation, you can check into the happiness motel at the top of the hill. And from then on, you just get to coast through the lazy river of tranquility. And this truth that's out there, we talk about it like it's a physical thing, like a pot of gold under the rainbow. But what could it even be? Seriously, let's play it out. What does ontological truth look like to you? I mean, in terms of UFOs, what would be satisfying? Would seeing one up in the sky be enough for you? Or I'll do you one better. Let's say some man in black ushers you into an Area 51 hangar and shows you a hovering craft and then sends you on your way. From then on, are you just living within this blissful state of truth? Or are you twice as obsessed. And same goes, of course, if you're one of the millions of people who have experienced alien abduction. Those people do not seem to bask in the glow of unadulterated truth. Most are traumatized and forced to live with far more complicated psychologies. In fact, they almost always question their sanity. And the stories are always highly strange. It's a whole thing. High strangeness. Hard to make sense of. Maybe impossible. Hallucinatory. Fever dream. And yet not a dream, and not like some heroic drug trip. Just a truly singular experience with no analog. And God forbid you just see a craft by yourself. From then on, all you think is, was that real? Can I trust my eyes? It had to have been Starlink, right? Anybody else seeing that? Truth is not a landing point. It's more like an addiction. A rabbit hole. It's a dragon you chase through quicksand. And the harder you struggle, the deeper you sink, as it coasts forever out of reach. And that's just life. But just what is life? What is this? I mean, we search for evidence of off-planet life. Shouldn't we first establish some sort of evidence of life on Earth? All we got right now are metaphors that never quite fit the bill. It's a video game. I'm a player. I'm a player. And maybe that's all wrong, because I've read that this world is actually physically predetermined. It's all just cause and effect laid into motion 14 billion years ago. So there's actually no free will, just this sliver of awareness mixed with a healthy dose of delusion. Which means life's not a video game. It's like an incredibly all-consuming movie. The script is fully written and it all plays out for an eternity. And it has always been playing in this little section of the block universe. And don't you get confused, we are not the writers and we're certainly not the directors. We're not even the actors. We are just the audience. Some people think this is depressing. No free will, predestined puppets. But dude, I'm so tired of trying to win the game of life. Frankly, I think determinism is a load off. It's like a middle-aged birthday party. Gone are the days where you try really hard to manipulate the moment. So here's the plan. We'll all dress like 90s raver hackers. We'll meet for cocktails at Footsie's. Then our dinner reservations are 45 minutes away in Santa Monica. Afterwards, we'll go roller skating into a concert. Then we pile into 6 cars and drive to Joshua Tree. I've curated a nostalgic playlist for the ride, which is basically just the Trainspotting soundtrack. Then Tom and Mary will cook midnight snacks and we'll all go outside and summon UFOs for the rest of the night. And look, dude, that sounds awesome, but it never plays out like that. Half the people cancel last minute, nobody dresses like a hacker, you all end up getting too wasted on cocktails, you miss dinner, and then try to roller skate on an empty stomach, blackout drunk. And it all culminates in Danny getting airlifted away from Moonlight Roller Rink. These days, in your 40s, you just send out a group text to 5 or 6 close friends. Hey, I'm 1 year closer to death and I'll be dancing tonight. Hope to see you there. Then you turn your phone off and throw it into the LA River, and whatever happens, happens. And it's fucking fine. Anyway, I forget what my point was. That's the problem with metaphors. They don't actually describe life in any sort of meaningful way. So let's just get a definition of life.
Life is just the condition that distinguishes animals and plants from inorganic matter, including the capacity for growth, reproduction, functional activity, and continual change preceding death.
So is that all we're looking for on other planets? We talk a big game in the UFO community about being into mainstream science, but
I'm into UFOs, dude.
I don't really give a shit if NASA finds some microorganism in the riverbeds of Mars. I mean, it's definitely cool, but it's not really gonna get me out of bed in the morning. So what do I want? Consciousness? We look for it. We send out SETI signals to try and find some signature of life. Then again, if it is just non-human, conscious, intelligent life that we're looking for, there's plenty of it here on Earth. I'm not even talking about how panpsychism suggests that everything's conscious, like cells and rocks and electrons and even podcast comedians. I mean, if we want to interact with other conscious beings, what about the octopus? What about dolphins? I mean, what about your dog? Fuck dolphins. Because it's not just purely about conscious life. And for me, it's not even about off-planet consciousness. So what is it? Okay. Look. I just want an alien that's way smarter than me with way better technology and hopefully some goddamn manners. Some class. The kind of aliens that don't do genocide, they don't kidnap people and hold them without trial, they don't do random mass shootings, they don't hoard resources, they don't live in constant fear of each other, and they don't spend half their lives dreading their inevitable death. I just want some good space guys, or different dimension guys, or time travel guys. I just need some super advanced beings that, despite despite their superiority, actually want to sit down with me and have a cup of joe and explain some shit. It would be nice if they said something like, hey dude, don't worry, your dead friends are fine. And when you die, it's gonna be great. Oh, and all that anxiety and depression you feel? Say goodbye. Is this nightmare your species has built on Earth, with the plastic oceans and rising temperatures and the child slaves, the wage labor traps and the AI-controlled death drones, and the constant circular political arguing, and your foolish attempts at logic. Oh, the monotonous meaninglessness. The asinine reboots and the gym memberships, this cultural trash, the rat race, the wars, the hatred, and the absolute inability to find any kind of human consensus as to what the fuck is even happening here, let alone what our problem is. It's the government, it's the corporation, it's the criminals, it's the police, it's the oligarchs, it's the populace, it's technology, it's religion, it's nature, it's nurture, it's everything, it's nothing. Well, good news, that's all done now. God has come home, baby cakes. Now look into my super big black eyes and link up to our telepathic whatevers and sit back and watch as the utopia you've always dreamed of and kind of felt like you deserved floods into existence. Hallelujah! Yeah, it might not be truth that I'm looking for. It might just be some solutions to these age-old societal metaphysical problems. Is that so much to ask? For some godlike race of aliens to come to Earth and give us free energy and the secrets to harnessing love and grace so that we might unite and actually live a dignified life? So that we as a people could finally thrive and stop struggling? And maybe that's what these beings are all about. Maybe they really are the whole shebang and more. But bad news, all that tech and know-how and even the aliens themselves and their spaceships got intercepted by the friggin' war machine. And to think all of that shit could be ours, but they keep it from us. There are whistleblowers. There have been for years, decades. But somehow, disclosure just seems to seep through our fingers. Okay, that brings us to this guy. He communicates with aliens, and you can too. Just download his app. He's briefed presidents. He knows all the guys. He wants disclosure, and he wants to be the one that brings it to you. He does not want to be interrupted.
And Lou Elizondo, as far as the substance you were, because I mean, I think you're putting out more.
You keep interrupting me, but I will tell you if you'll let me finish.
There is a shadow government, a cabal, built on the foundation of these UFO secrets and technology that you or I could not even begin to fathom. They that hold it can warp space-time, they can go to the stars, they can do whatever they want.
They are illegal operations, and this can be proven in any court of law.
It's like, wow, nobody's coming after us. We're gonna do this until we can get away with it.
They would have so much control over everything if they had that.
If he is a medical doctor, he is ripped. And so you may trust him when he tells you that they have medical devices that could heal basically anything. Every one of the 1,000 shocks that flesh is heir to. They got energy. Free energy. No more gas, no more coal, no more electric bills. They have the answers to these ubiquitous human concerns, but they keep it for themselves. For it is not unity that our rulers desire. They want power. They want to stay at the top of the pyramid, the all-seeing eye. They want us to continue to grovel for any semblance of life, stuck in their feudalistic empire, completely dependent on old antiquated forms of energy. Even if their withholding of these advancements ends up destroying the entire Earth, global warming, peak oil, thermonuclear holocaust, still they will gladly hide the truth and lie and watch us all die from their bunkers rather than give up their trillions of dollars and their shiny gold cars. They are become death, revelatory gods of pestilence, war, and famine. 4 horsemen, behold a pale horse. They are dancing. They say they will never die. And if you offer up their secrets, they will kill you. They've tried to kill him. They've tried to discredit him. They've tried to bribe him.
Well, in '92, General Stubblebine offered me $2 billion.
But don't worry, the ETs protect him because he talks to them. And you can too. Get the app. Read his books. Read the documents.
It's hard to speculate on these things. I mean,
no, it isn't.
We don't have great data.
You don't, because you haven't studied my stuff. We have great data.
I've been looking through it.
He hates the industrial military complex. But he does love some of the individuals in those groups. There are good apples, and they love him. He's got generals. He's got CIA agents.
I got a heads up from the senior-most CIA guy.
Together, they will beat the cabal and they will save us. And perhaps the worst crime of all is blasphemy. These scumbags are trying to convince people that aliens are evil.
And he said they're a threat to the national security. The implication being the NHI, non-human, are a threat. And it's a complete false narrative.
He's kind of walked that back, though.
Well, he has to, because we're done with him.
Think about it. It doesn't make any sense. If the ETs meant to harm us, if they were really a threat, they would have destroyed us long ago. They're all powerful, after all. We'd be toast. They are like gods. We are an anthill. They are a bulldozer. And yet here we are, undestroyed. The ETs are benevolent. They protect him. They want disclosure too. They want to usher us into this new paradigm of love and unity. And yet he has tried since the 90s to get this message out. It's a message so simple and it makes so much sense. And I want to believe so badly that the answer to severely complicated societal problems are right around the corner. Disclosure. One fucking word. We just need truth. And he has that truth, and he offers it to you. And so I try to embrace it. I try to hold the truth. And after you spend enough time with it, you can't help but scrutinize. You begin to kind of wonder why these all-powerful ET gods, if they could destroy us, and they could save us, and they speak telepathically, and they control space-time, why don't they just say, hello, ahoy hoy, howdy do to all of us, all at once, some undeniable telepathic mass message, and then just brush the cabal aside with one glowing red finger, and finally just give us the keys to technological and spiritual enlightenment. And don't tell them I said this, but like, why go through that dude? I mean, if they actually care about us, why just talk to one guy and call it a day? Real talk, he's not doing that great. Not his fault. I mean, he's going up against a cabal of psychopaths with infinite money and technology. But I mean, we seem precariously close to thermonuclear holocaust. We got AI on the precipice. Energy's a big problem. It kind of feels like people are getting dumber. Planets being destroyed. People don't even believe it. We got super lucky with this last pandemic. And my best buddy died in the hospital a couple years ago. Really could have used some of that life-saving tech. It really would have hit the spot. I mean to say, it seems like if they have the ability to protect him, and they can do basically anything, couldn't they protect all of us? I mean, if they really want to save us, why don't they, like, save us? What would that even look like? I mean, life's been such a shithole for so long, I really struggle to see what it might look like. It's fun to think about, but I don't have any idea. I mean, I like to believe that I have pretty good ideas. Enough so that I'm speaking these ideas into a microphone and into this camera. And then this video will join the infinite pool of videos, that trillions of videos, all promising ontological, paradigm-shifting truth. And discounts for CBD gummies. Which always makes me wonder, if my mind is being blown, would that new mind still require CBD gummies? Hard to say. I don't know. We've been talking about a shifting paradigm for a long time, and to me the paradigm still seems decidedly unshifted. You might say it's a slow shift, imperceptible to the human eye, like the hour hand of a clock. And look at the progress! These desert men are talking to Congress. The whistleblowers do seem to be increasing. I mean, I feel like I see a new one every other day. Something is happening. I think it is. I mean, like 10 years ago when I saw the New York Times reporting on this, I couldn't believe it. That the Pentagon admitted to UAPs? That felt brand new. I got a little giddy. And during the Grush hearing, good lord, I was freaking out like Tom Cruise on Oprah's couch. But I don't know. I don't know what to believe. I can't discern their truth from lies, and I won't pretend that I can. And there's so many drones in the sky, and planes, and satellites now. And with CGI and AI, when I see a 4K video of a human being on the street, I don't know if it's real or not. Are we post-truth? Truth. Have we put this idea to bed the way we once killed God? The way we stopped sitting on Santa's lap at the mall? The way we stopped hiding teeth under a pillow? I think we've never left Plato's cave. All that happened happened is the shadow figures on the wall multiply, and they grow faster and faster, creating this feverishly incomprehensible series of conflicting narratives. And without ever learning how to make sense of these shadows, we learned how to broadcast our own shadows. And we use these shadows to project our own beliefs, our own ever-changing narrative, on top of the already existing shadows, just convoluting and confusing our perceptions even more. But at some point, the shadows have fully overwhelmed the light source. Right now, there is no flickering glow left to outline these shadows, which makes everything utterly formless. We have reached peak shadow. The wall is only darkness now. We know not if the fire even still burns, or if it ever did. And so, in this frightening present, where the idea of truth feels utterly naive, almost laughable, we search. Now harder than ever for some new light that might outline the shadows again. We scan the sky for light. Of course we do, the lights are out, man. But we can't even find the wall. All things digital can be lies. We know that now. We warn our parents, we warn our kids about the potential, if not certain, unreality of the digital realm.
Hello. I'm not a real person, and that's the point.
The way that I was warned about strangers in vans with candy, deep fake news, audio manipulation, your grandchildren calling and begging for ransom money, a Bitcoin scam sold to you by a familiar celebrity or even somebody that you know personally, a chatbot on a dating app, a phishing text. The term catfishing now rarely has anything to do with catfish. Even the simplest abstraction of the self, the selfie, so easily doctored or recontextualized to fully distort whatever's left of your vague and dissolving identity, if it even existed in the first place. So now that we know that the digital realm is little more than a fog, do we cast it away? No. So much of our lives are in the digital realm now that we need a term, IRL, for the real world, because in real life is the exception. The UFO disclosure question is the perfect place to accentuate this digital dilemma. Video after video after video of supposed anomalies. We cannot trust our eyes anymore. We're easily fooled by the most basic optical illusions. If you have watched even one true crime documentary where some poor rube is railroaded and sent to prison for life for a crime they did not commit, then you know that an eyewitness is the least reliable form of evidence. So when we see something, we take a picture, capture the truth so that the truth might be analyzed and our reality might be confirmed. But the camera observation only adds another level of reality, another point of reference to scrutinize. And the pictures themselves never seem to fully capture the reality. How often have you pointed your phone at the moon or a beautiful sunset and then looked at your screen and said, well, this looks like garbage. Whereas with your own eyes, you were overwhelmed with emotion and beauty. But we take pictures and we slow it down and we blow it up and now we enhance it with AI and we scrutinize and endlessly debate authenticity. And we try to get on some solid ground by trying to analyze the person themselves who took the picture. Is he trustworthy? Is he the type of person who would do a hoax? Is he just trying to get attention? Do they have mental illness? Were there previous episodes? Nervous breakdown? Did they have an interest in UFOs before? What were their grades like in high school? Are they still friends with most of their exes? But you really can't listen to an interview with somebody and know whether or not they're the type of person to toss a stainless steel bowl into the air and snap a couple pictures. People do weird shit. We would all like a little bit of significance while we do this brief strut across the stage. And you really can't know the truth about a person. How many wives have woken up with the police knocking on their door and then found out that their husband of 30 years was actually a serial killer the whole time? You can't know a person and you can't know a picture. In fact, usually the more detailed or sharp or in focus or close up a picture is, the more I tend to think it's fake. It seems too good to be true and I start thinking, well, that's a special effect. Whereas if it's blurry or night vision, it's somehow easier to accept. Because I have my guard up. You have to put your guard up in this post-truth world because you never know what's a lie or a psyop. Why would they lie to us? And let's go beyond the idea that they lie to us to protect their trillions of dollars and their empire. So why else would they keep this truth a secret? Well, it could be that anti-gravity is easily turned into a weapon. And that once you have a basic understanding of this alien alchemy, it's not some grueling, tedious bit of science like building an atomic weapon, but more akin to a science fair volcano. And so once they release the truth about this science, suddenly every person who knows how to read can build their own atomic weapon in their backyard. And so suddenly we have 8 billion individual nuclear powers, 8 billion armies of one. How long do you think we'd last if that were the case? In this world of xenophobia and political anger and mass shooters, the wealth disparity, the disdain for human rights, the evil other, suddenly every American mass shooter could destroy an entire city. Think about the state response. With our current surveillance system, think about how draconian the police state would become. You can come up with tons of reasons why the government might keep aliens and their technology a secret from us. But the better question to me is still, why do the aliens keep themselves a secret? People always ask why they don't just land on the White House lawn. But maybe they did. Maybe forever ago they brainwashed the president and they've been brainwashing every president ever since. Maybe the ancient aliens created us and set us on a path of creating our own superintelligence. Why would they do that? I don't know, for the fun of it. I mean, why do we play The Sims? These theories are derived from my own flawed perceptions. We know so little about our reality. In UFO videos, we love to theorize about anti-gravity propulsion systems. And yet, of course, gravity itself is still basically just a shadow on the wall. We love to debate as to whether or not UFOs are time travelers or space aliens or interdimensional beings. I don't know what the difference is between those three options. I mean, isn't time just a dimension of space? And one of the most fascinating connections is the connection between UFOs and nuclear bases. Sometimes they show up and they seem to shut down our nuclear weapons, or they disable an active missile. And so we think, well, they must be interested in our technology, in our weapons. They must be trying to teach us a lesson about nukes. Maybe they're trying to figure out how to fight us in a war. And most of these theories come from scientists and soldiers. Of course they view it that way. It's their field. It's what they're interested in. Soldiers and spies are interested in war. Scientists are interested in technology. The crafts can be so shiny that we just get lost in our own reflections. Me, I'm just a poet, man. An artist. I tend to think that if their technology is so far ahead of ours, the last thing they would be interested in is our technology. Wouldn't they just be totally bored with our crude science? Wouldn't Oppenheimer be bored at a second grade science fair? Especially Oppenheimer. I mean, didn't he give his kid away? At least for a bit. I like to think that the aliens would be interested in our art. Because that's what I'm interested in. If we had the technology and I went to another planet, I wouldn't give a shit about their nuclear weapons. I would give a shit about their music. Someone might say, well, it's too frivolous of a reason to travel across the entire universe. Yeah, but maybe traveling across the universe is just like taking a walk around the block. I mean, I could watch the game tonight on my own TV, but I choose to drive 10 minutes over to my friend's house. What I'm saying is their reasons for being here might be varied, and they might be for the fuck of it. We like to think there's some grand reason for them being here. But think about the way people choose their life mate. On the outside, it feels like some huge existential decision to choose the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. But basically, you just pick somebody that you're crushing on. And so often you fall for people that there is no rational explanation as to why you should be with them. If anything, there's plenty of evidence that you should not be with them. We all know tons of couples that probably shouldn't be together, but they are together because love is not rational. And love drives most of what we do. Therefore, most of what we do is not rational. Every human is filled with a myriad of contradictory intentions and motivations. And each institution is filled with a myriad of different kinds of humans. And society is filled with a bunch of institutions. And our species is filled with very many societies. So trying to narrow down the motivations of some hypothetical species is a pretty silly endeavor. Like, what's the goal of humans, would you say? Stop, I'm cutting you off right now because your answer sucks. It's not your fault, it's an impossible question. So am I trying to say that it's ridiculous to ponder these sorts of questions? No, actually quite the opposite. I do not understand how anyone on Earth cannot ponder these questions. I am astonished when I meet someone who is not interested in UFOs. I think, how could my fellow human be so basic, so boring, so complacent, so stubbornly pedestrian? You never wonder about the origins of mankind? When you were a child, you must have asked these questions, right? So when did you stop wondering? When does a person stop wondering about the meaning of life? Why is there something instead of nothing? Have you not smoked a joint and looked at the stars? Hasn't the concept of an infinite universe kept you up at night? And was not a finite universe even more troubling? Some wall at the end of everything that keeps out the nothing? I just don't understand how someone could go through life not caring about this shit. And I know if you've made it this far, I'm preaching to the choir. And even as UFOs have found their way into the mainstream news, still people don't care. It's baffling. Don't you wonder what it all means? Don't you wonder? If not, then what do you wonder about? What does it mean to you?
What does it mean?
What does it mean to me?
I don't know.
What does it mean?
I'm just a man in the desert.
A man in my bedroom.
Summoning the unknown.
I am afraid to die and be dead.
Because death is a mystery.
But so is the afternoon.
It's also mysterious.
You watched a loved one die. Several have gone. And so you want to go too. Get it out of the way. Figure it all out. But you're scared of death. So you look with a telescope for a clue.
Look for a ghost in the sky.
Shimmering and moving impossibly fast and silent.
Because truth must go unspoken.
No obvious means of propulsion. They say there are many worlds because it makes their equations work. All I see is desert.
But I can't see very far.
They say the universe is not locally real, and that's where I am.
What could it mean? To be unreal?
I saw this video once. A single-celled organism swam around and then just dissolved. The comment section debated as to whether or not this organism had a soul. I have to admit, the way it moved, it looked like it did. There are men in the desert
searching for truth. They say this rock is a portal.
They say the aliens visit here.
But maybe they were lying, or it's never been said. It's just something I've always known.
Quietly. Silently.
No visible means of propulsion.
The truth is silent.
Because truth must go unspoken.